Good evening and welcome to Legacy After the Locker Room. I'm your host, Kayla Bradham, here tonight with world record holder in powerlifting, Sue Priver. Good evening, Sue.
Hi, Kayla. How are you?
I'm awesome. So, you and I had an amazing conversation earlier this year. I fell in love with your story, and one of the things that resonated with me was how everything for you began. It started at the age of 37. As a 49-year-old single mother of eight, that resonated with me. I come out of corporate fitness America. I love helping people become unstoppable. Your story resonated with me. Tell me how you got started, Sue.
Sure. So, in the beginning of 2012, when I was 36, I ran into some additional health issues and decided it was time to not go down that rabbit hole of dark depression in the dark winter of the Boston area. And one thing that I could take care of and see if there were additional options for me was my health. And so went down on that journey. And part of that journey inherently I knew was movement. I knew I hated running and needed to figure out something else that my body was good at. I had dabbled in sports as a kid. I was an ice skater. I played soccer, did all different things, and really had issues in my teen years with major body pain of being diagnosed with fibromyalgia and endometriosis and irritable bowel syndrome, and really never had a great relationship with my body. So in the summer of 2012, I wound up going to a strength gym that offered kettlebell classes as part of their regular class format. And I went in and just tried it. Ran into someone whom I knew, and she said, "You're in the right place. The coaches are great. Just keep talking with them. Tell them what you like, what you don't like, and they'll keep sending you in new directions." So that September at age 37, I touched a barbell for the first time and did a squat workshop day just to find out the fundamentals of barbell squatting. It just worked. And then did some more training in the fall, and December of that year did a 4-week mini time of 3 nights in the gym, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Big life change. And then just worked with a coach because I knew nothing and didn't want to hurt myself. And that first day met the coach, and he said, "Sue, you're born to deadlift." I had no idea what that meant. I was a little overwhelmed. So later on, I asked him, and he said, started listing all of the traits about my body that I was very uncomfortable with. So he was saying that I have a very short torso, and it's shorter because of scoliosis. I have very long limbs and big hands and big feet. I have really big hamstrings, so the back of my thighs, relatively big glutes, and just am apple shape also, pretty rectangular, pretty square. And that was just my body was meant to deadlift. And I finally found something that just worked. In a very short period of time, I was deadlifting 225 pounds, which is 2 plates for those in the strength world, and proceeded to literally within a few months of starting powerlifting, started competing. It was the first time I had been at that level of athletics, of being on the platform, testing things out, seeing what I could do, and really trusting my body to do what it was trained to do. In powerlifting, you train a lot and then compete 2 or 3 times a year. And that's the matter of like 9 minutes on the platform, and that's it.
So, one of the things that you said that I just love is how uncomfortable you were with all of the things that your coach started noticing and calling out. And I want to get this message out there that everybody is an athlete's body. And I think we need to hear it. We need to remind ourselves. We all need to train. We all need to perfect. But every body is an athlete body. So you talk about being rectangular shaped, apple shaped. The strong legs, that reminds me of another world record holder that has been on the show, Courtney Olson, who can squish a watermelon with her thighs. And I give her so much credit. And she said the same thing, all of the body image issues she's had with such a small chest and big legs, and how she's used it to encourage women and girls that whatever body you were born with is an athlete body. So take us a little bit into the story of, you find out you're good, you start training, you begin competing. So what was it like to start entering this professional sports arena? I'm going to sort of say midlife or older age, and you're competing now. What was that journey like for you? And I'm asking the whole thing, physically, emotionally, spiritually. What was that like, Sue?
So when I started powerlifting, I was someone who lived 100% in my head. I was not connected with my emotions. I was not really connected spiritually, and really hated my body for all the pain and all the discomfort that I was in and all the problems it seemed to have. So my journey of powerlifting started with literally reconnecting with my body. That I'm not just a head, I'm not just a brain and an intellectual, which I still am, but that's not only who I am. And started really getting in touch with my body and figuring out, well, what am I doing? My coach is saying to do this. I don't understand what that means. And just listening to him, having feedback, working with the other people in our group, and trusting for the first time that everything's going to be okay, and having constant communication with my coach. So one of the big things that I told him up front was, my body hurts every single day. And he accepted that. And I said, when I get out of bed in the morning, that's the least amount of pain that I'm in. And I know that. And it's a little bit of a hard mindset and mentality when the first thing in the morning when you wake up is the best you're going to feel all day. And it's only going to go downhill and be more pain. I used to train at night. And my coach said, if you can, at all possible, get into your workout clothes, walk in the door, come and warm up. And if the warm up is all you can do today, that's all you can do today. If the warm up and the main lift of the day is all you can do today, that's all you do. If you can't do that and you can do the accessories, do the accessories. You can do everything, then we're going to do everything. And it was just a great mindset and mentality of, if you don't walk in the door, you don't have any options. You can't see how things are going to go. And there were some days that I literally walked in the door and I couldn't do anything. And that's okay. And it was honest and it was real and it was a full body check-in. And I got used to doing that and understanding and being in relationship with my body. And as time went on and I worked through other elements and got into better physical shape with balancing hormones and doing other things in my health journey, my pain dramatically reduced. And a few years later, I was on another journey in 2015. So like a couple years after starting powerlifting, and really got back into touch with emotions and with spirituality, and became more of an even person, and learned as an adult in my 40s how to have emotions in a healthy way and how to recognize spiritual connection and connection with other people through spirituality. And that just got me really changed. And that, looking back, kicked off in the fall of 2014. So I was 39 years old. My gym was hosting a competition. I showed up and was warming up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I am not a morning person, have never been. highly likely will never be. And squat warm-ups were just off. I just chalked it up to the fact that I was just not awake yet. I went on the platform and I did not get a squat for the first round that qualified. Never happened before. I had never made that mistake before in training either. So I had no idea how to recover. My coach worked with me and it was an easy weight. I could do triples, meaning I could do 3 in a row in practice, no issues, no worries, no problem. Could not get my squat to work that morning. So I disqualified and bombed out of the meet. I was absolutely absolutely mortified and humiliated and full of shame in front of my entire community. And my coach, I let him down. I let everybody down, or at least it really felt that way. And I felt horrible. At the end of that session, I was called up to the scorer's table. I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought maybe I had to sign something official to show that I had disqualified and wasn't continuing. But for a bunch of reasons, the head judge decided to allow me to compete in the third event only, which was my event, which I was a world record holder in at that time, and to deadlift that day. And so I went back, I found my coach, I explained what happened, and he basically said, you have the rest of squat and the rest of bench for you to get your head on straight. Do whatever you need to do to come back and set a new world record and hit your other goal, which is a huge milestone, to lift 405 pounds, which is 4 plates on either side of the bar in a traditional gym setting. He's like, do whatever it takes and just come back when you're ready. We'll warm up deadlift and we'll just start from there. So I did. Anything I could think of, did everything I could, put everything behind me of what had already happened, and knew that this was something exceedingly important to me to do this. So went through all of my routines, got everything set, everything felt great. Everything came with total ease and control. Hit 405 pounds, could have easily done some more. And on that day, vowed to myself that my mind was never going to stop me from achieving what I want to achieve.
First of all, big snaps, big snaps. Say that number one more time. 400.
And 5 pounds.
Oh my gosh. I'm thinking about some of my teenage children and just picking a couple of them up and carrying them because that's what that evens out to. So, Sue, that's great. You said something that I loved, and I just want to take a moment and echo it. And it was at the beginning of this segment. You said you had to trust your trainer. I remember that. I want to take just a moment to shout out Milwaukee's best personal trainer, Travis Jonko, who did the same thing for me. I had lost weight, and he said to me, Kayla, you have to eat more. And I was, same thing, mortified, like, dude, you don't get it. I'm trying to lose weight. And he's like, you need to eat every 2 hours. And I was like, I can't. There's no way. The panic just set in. Travis went in on my phone and he put in alarms on my phone that said eat, and the ratio, whether it was a carb and a protein or pure protein, whatever he wanted, he put that in. And when you said it, just resonated with me. It is so hard. But what happened for me is I realized I was not the expert and that I didn't know, and that it was okay for me to only know what I know and to trust him to be the expert. And of course he was right. So I think one of the things that you said that just stands out in terms of athletics, trusting your coach, and whether that's in the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, lifting, weight loss, whatever sphere that's in. I would say go find a coach. A coach is worth their money.
I completely believe that as well. As you said, not just in athletics, but in all areas of life. So after that meet, when I made that vow to myself, I then had to follow up on it. Like, who is the expert in strength sports to help me with mental strength? Because as I mentioned, strength sports, you only compete 2 or 3 times a year for most people, especially if you're a master's, mid 40 plus, and 9 minutes on the platform. That's it. So I couldn't find the person to train with. So I'm like, okay, let me do this from this person and that from that person. And I was on a mission to teach myself and learn from the best sports performance coaches out there, and to learn more about my body connection and my nervous system and yoga and mindfulness and everything that I possibly could get my hands on, and started incorporating that into my training. And everything just went smoother and much better and easier. And I ran into a coach later, and she asked me, where else in your life are you using this? And I was like, nowhere. And she reiterated, where else in your life are you using these tools and techniques that you've taught yourself? And I was like, nowhere. And she's like, people need this from you, and you need this. And so I started working with other strength athletes, helping them on their mental strength and performance, and then wound up growing my coaching business and working with entrepreneurs and salespeople on their mental strength and their mind body connection, so that they would boost their confidence in their sales and have their nervous system work for them and with them and not fight them. And then in 2019, as part of my personal health journey, I had gone through a whole evolution of figuring out hormonal problems and imbalances and balancing things out, and working on my pelvic floor so that I would no longer have excruciatingly painful sex. 2019, everything was solved and good to go, and I was feeling great. And I used these tools that I have to cut 50 pounds with the knowledge of my coach. He gave me the food that I was supposed to be eating in that plan, but it was up to me to implement it because that was our agreement. And I did, and I was successful. And then I was like, well, I'm ready to date and I'm ready to look for a partner. And started working on all these things. And oh, wow, my tools and techniques, weren't working for me at that level that I needed them to. I hired a coach for relationships, got some more tools and techniques, and really dug deep, did a lot of things, went on a journey, and was in a fabulous relationship in 2020, even during COVID. And then that finished in a very amicable way between the two of us. We knew it was over. And then I decided, this is what I need to do. I need to take the tools and techniques that made me so successful on the platform, that really helped me help other people in business and in sales, and apply them to relationships. Because when we're in intimate relationships, the deepest, most ingrained parts of our nervous system start kicking up, and we go into all these patterns. I know I did, and I've seen it with other people. So I'm finishing up a year-long program for sex, love, and relationship coaching, and applying that. And every new tool I learn with that, I pull into my toolbox and I adjust it so that it works more for me personally in the first portion of the course, and then really tweak it so that it would fit with the mindset and the personality of my clients to be, and my practice clients this year. And it has been absolutely amazing.
So, Sue, I'm sure that as people hear this, they're just like, what an amazing journey. Because number one, you're super smart. We should tell people what you did for a job before you became a professional athlete. But you're smart. Your journey is an amazing story. you've conquered so much. I want to continue this, but I want to give you a chance to tell people a little bit about your pre-athletic professional background, and then I'm going to hop right back in.
Sure. So, out of college, I worked for a year, thought that I was going to business school, got prepared for that, and took a little detour and wound up getting my master's in library science. I'm someone who loves working with people, solving problems, and working with technology. So, during library school, I got walked in the door, cold called to see if the Harvard Business School library would hire a library school student. And so I worked there for 2 years while I was getting my library degree and stayed on as the Saturday librarian for reference there for another 3 years, and uh, went down a path of doing all different technology and reference librarianship and other areas of librarianship for 20 something years.
Oh my gosh. So, folks, like I said, this is a bright, intelligent, powerful woman right here. So, Sue, as we talk about this journey, we talk about beginning your career, becoming a world record holder in powerlifting, the things that you learned through your coach about yourself, about your ability to connect and coach others. I'm sure people are either watching this or will catch it on the podcast streams, and they're going to say, "Oh my gosh, this is somebody that I have to connect with. I want to talk to." So what I'm going to do, Sue, is I'm just going to put up the best ways to contact you if you don't mind. If you are watching the live stream, you can use Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Just go to Sue Priver. It's SUE Priver, Priver, like river with a P. Sue, from there, I know that you have graciously agreed to partner with me in Sports Philanthropy Network. You're actually going to offer people a coaching session. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the best way that I know to share my expertise with the world is to work one on one with as many people as possible. And so I love it. It lights me up. If that 90-minute session impacts your world and your life, and you are able to work through a bunch of different issues and problems and things that you want to work through, I am happy to help you with that, set up a plan so that you can move forward and really reach the goals that you want to reach. And if you have bigger goals and bigger things that I'm the right person to help you with, and we connect and it works out well, then I'm happy to figure out a way to support you moving forward. I work with people primarily in focusing on resilient relationships, really wanting either you're solo right now and want to establish a partnership and find somebody or somebody's, or you're in a relationship and you know that there are things that you want to work on for yourself and for the relationship. So I'll work with you individually. I also work with partners, be it two or more, who are in an intimate relationship and they all want to do both the individual work and the couple work together. And we figure out a plan that makes sense depending on where you are in life right now and what the next stages would be for you and either a future partner or someone that you're with right now.
Sue, I love it. So, speaking of next stages, I am always looking ahead to the work that we're doing at Sports Philanthropy Network to build stronger, healthier, and more inclusive communities through sports. My charity of choice is Special Olympics. For the first 100 episodes of Legacy After the Locker Room, I asked every guest to partner with me with an autograph donation to Special Olympics. We're changing that up starting in season 5, asking for an autograph donation for the Sports Philanthropy Network website that we can raffle off for charity. Sue, can we count on you for an autograph donation?
Absolutely.
Thank you for helping us with our next steps. So I'm sure this half hour goes by so quickly. We only have about 5 minutes left. I know that there were questions that I probably should have asked you that I didn't. But I want to give you a moment to just speak wisdom from your heart to the people who are watching this. And I guess I'll say it like this. I'm 49 years old. I'm a regular mom with 8 kids living in Milwaukee. I understand what it's like to sort of be in this area of life and working hard and all of the challenges that come with it. For your advice to every other person out there, like you, like me, who got started a little bit late, would you just give your best wisdom?
Absolutely. Just because your current life is your normal right now doesn't mean that it's the healthiest and the best for you in all areas. One of the big things that has been key in my journey is evaluating what are the limits in my life right now? What am I choosing? What am I allowing that I don't want to be allowing? And what am I accepting that really is a real limit? Like my physical body comes in a certain container, and I'm accepting those limits that I'm not 7 feet and basketball, not really my thing. But there are other limits that I am choosing. My religion is very important to me, and being in partnership with someone of the same religion, very important. That's a limit that I am consciously choosing. Other people, other things are important to them. And so I would say, look at your life, look at all the different areas, and see just because it's what I'm used to and what my normal is right now, is it the best for me? Is it what I truly desire? And can I let go and change that? Or is it a limit that I'm choosing that, excuse me, that is healthy and is what's really best for me right now?
Sue, I love it. I have to ask, when you look ahead at the next year or 2 or 3 years, what's on the horizon for you?
So I've been dating an amazing man. So hopefully that relationship will continue, and we will support each other in growing and becoming our best selves. I really see my coaching practice shifting fully into working with people for resilient relationships, some combination of people seeking relationships as well as people seeking to enhance their resiliency in their current relationship, and just letting things unfold and really having that wonder every day of how can life be wonderful and amazing today in all areas. Not everything is perfect in my life right now. I will be the first person to say that. And there are definitely areas that I want to improve and grow. And I am the happiest I have been in a very long time, maybe ever in my life. And I was just sharing that with my partner yesterday. And he's just so happy for me that he can be part of this and support me. And I can do that for him as well.
Well, it helps if I'm not on mute. I said, I think that's an amazing, beautiful journey. I'm so happy that you were able to share that with us, and I'm happy for you. So, I want to give you about 30 seconds to shout out and thank the people in your life that you need to thank, and then we'll sign off.
Hadn't really thought of that. So I am just grateful for literally everybody who has been with me on my journey in the last, say, dozen years, who have supported me from that really deep, dark place that I was in my late 30s to today. where I now trust my intuition and fully connected and radiant in who I am, and love the people who are supporting me and encouraging me to be my best self and really share that with the world.
On that wonderful, powerful note, folks, my name is Kayla Bradham. I'm your host of Legacy After the Locker Room podcast, here tonight with world record holder powerlifting, Sue Priver, reminding you to live your legacy. Thanks, Sue.